Good evening from New York, wherever you are around the world. I'm going to present to you this topic, a political pattern around the world, healing enslaved minds that support it, intermind communication. It doesn't take much to see this pattern in almost every country. You have a handful of people with all the power and all the money. It's kind of like the apes, living as the leader and one or two pals. And so, and power and money. They're a little addicted, perhaps. Certainly not into sharing. The benefit that we get in a more democratic country is that the people who are owning the power and the money are hiding behind and buying the government, pretty much influencing it tremendously. So, yeah. So the benefit there is that you have some freedoms, and I mean they're not nervous. They're not about to lose anything soon, and not about to lose very much power. And there might be now and then another one joining the ranks, but not a big deal. And well, when you own homes and yachts, and even live primarily in any one country necessarily, as you choose to. Well, that's quite a bit of freedom. What, what, how could you ask for more? And yet they want more. They do, and they want to defend that more. So it comes with the big militaries all around the world. Yeah, because it's one thing we have in common with our cousins the apes is that we are a little prone to territorial violence. Well, and where people take over the government, like with dictators and other similar sorts of things, one party rule. they're pretty nervous. You better watch what you say because they want a tight control so that they don't lose what they got. Because everybody knows who they are. Everybody knows who they are, and they know what they do, and they're the same, one and the same with the politics. Not a very smart thing to do. Not very unstable, but it's what they do. And so, perhaps those worst kinds will be out the door in time, over time. But how do we heal the minds of the peoples who permit this sort of thing around the world? How do we do that? And that'll be the subject tonight. Yeah. How about that? Is that better? Got your attention. Okay. Yeah. Not exactly a studio. All right. There's another pattern that you see, and the pattern that you have inside yourself, and the pattern that you see in society and in families. And that's kind of the good thing. It has to do with how we meet human need, which is all about politics. Um, Getting along. So, how do we get along as a society? How do we better get along? And stop being sheeple. You know, be who we really are. Full on human. Well, you got to understand the pattern. Yeah. And it's kind of a good one that has to do with empathy and forms of empathy and how those relate to need and all of that relates to how people experience need and giving and receiving love, which is meeting need, giving and receiving. And it's all about trade. So the dramatic self in you is the person, the part of you that most emotionally is impacted by the drama in your life and the things that are going on. And in order to do a better job with that, you need some forms of empathy. Objective is one, and objective empathy is very important in a conversation with your dramatic self, the kid in you. You're talking back and forth with your objective, more objective self that cares about you. You're experiencing objective empathy, and it's like the grown-up part of you, more rational. It talks to the kid. It's all about communication too, and creative empathy. You know, the ability to not only be at play but to create play. Look at things from many different perspectives. Do it on purpose. And that's a very artful thing. The other thing is all about truth. Get from objectivity. You do it right, you get a little closer to truth. And how do you get closer to artfulness? Creativity. Looking at things a lot of different ways and putting things together. And that in that process, we create a more artful life that's very appreciative. Um, Everything that we're experiencing makes for better trade, certainly, as does objectivity. And compassionate empathy is very important too. So that compassionate empathy is where we get goodness. So we're basically talking there to whoever's important in your life, one way or another. And that has to do with giving and receiving love. So, and compassion, sharing your feelings, getting a greater capacity to feel safe in terms of, you know, being very open with your needs and your feelings, right? And it's a very healing sort of thing, too. That's where we get goodness. And so the kid in you is basically talking to the inner artist, inner counselor with the objectivity, and your inner caregiver. As you talk to people who are important to you back and forth, you're changing roles. The other, when you are talking to the artist in you, show me what I need to see. Give me an experience. And then create that experience for that kid in you. Create it. And that communication meets a lot of human need. And it's very important. Your artist is the imaginer of everything you imagine. That's where this mystic kind of feeling comes about. Well, the artist in you actually is imagining who you think you are, who you think other people are, who you are as a more objective person. That's pretty subjective, you know. How do you know that can go wrong, you know? Well, sure. But it's fed by your experiences in life. Talking to people that are smart, caring, and artful. You know, you grow that way. And, you know, of course, reading books and watching movies, you grow. And through that, you actually grow your comfort zone in terms of, you know, incorporating a greater sense of objectivity, creativity, and so who is the real you? There's your mystic experience. You know, this interchange between you and your artist, your inner artist, is that's your higher power, and you know, in your mind, that's your higher power, imaginer of all imagine. So, which is you? And get lost. You know, it's all you, isn't it? Happening in your imagination. Now, this pattern is something that you also see in families. And, well, the kids, of course, are the kid. And fathers tend to love more with their teaching. And mothers a little more with their heart. You know, when the big strong guys are in the hospital and everything's going awry, they've been known to call out for mama. Usually it's not dad. You know, if the car's broken down and they're wondering what to do next, you know, then I call dad. You know, it's, you know, you can say that's, oh, you know, that's too black and white, cut and dried. No, it's every role talking about anybody can play, and in different circumstances we play all kinds of roles. And but I'm looking at this pattern, and you disagree with me. I think in some extent, you know, when you're in a role, you're not losing all the other parts of you. You're just playing that particular role. Now, in the family, you have grandparents. And they're kind of outside of the immediate needs. Children have to help, they might help a little. But, you know, they enjoy their grandkids a great deal because, you know, they get the fun part. You know, it's just to play. they take them out for ice cream, and they have a good time. Taking them to the swing sets, and, you know, watching them while the parents go out and do something. But they're more at play with the kids. They can be more creative, and they give them experiences. Grandparents have lots of stories, so they can tell them stories about the kids' parents, who are their kids, one way or another, in law or in reality. So they can tell them little stories, and that's kind of the storytelling is a big part of the artist's role. So it's that pattern is there. When you're looking at society, there are these institutions that we kind of have, and the institution of trade, we usually call that business. Well, that's the kid. That's where the tire meets the road. That's most in touch with the drama of life and survival, and it's all about trade. How is that trade educated and improved? Government is it's an attempt to, through laws and other means, to create a kind of objective help to business, to trade itself, not just business says, but all trading partners. You can have this, but you can't have all that. You have all that. That's objectivity, trying to figure out how to fashion the rules. And it's kind of like the dad. That's kind of like your inner counselor. So, on the compassionate side, well, you see extended family organizations. Oftentimes, they're rather religious. But, they tend to be about the past because they're setting a foundation. It's an extended family, and that's about compassion, and that's about more motherly thing. So a lot of times, the churches are created by the women. Do all the main real work. I find that interesting. Then you have some guy coming in, and he's gonna rule the thing. Yeah, take home the paycheck. That shouldn't be. We're working on that, right? But yeah, that's more about compassion, and trade needs to have a little compassion there if it's going to be very effective in terms of the whole body of trading partners. So it's kind of like you can't do that. That's wrong. You do this. This is a good thing. You got all that money. We'll give some to charity. Why don't you pay your fair share of taxes? Yeah. So, but churches provide that sort of, and so what about the artist role, the creative? What is that? What about the media? The media presents all kinds of different perspectives. And that could be, the media, movies, and every kind of expression there is. News from various perspectives. That's what they do. So that plays that creative role. How does that help with trade? Well, looking at things from different perspectives is how we have an idea for a new product, for instance, how to do things a little differently, and how to appreciate what's going on around us, and how best to deal with what's going on with us. And so that's very helpful to Trey. So how do we avoid this situation where just a few people are controlling everything? Well, if everybody starts to, well, I don't want to say pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. That's really ridiculous. And how can you do that? You can do a lot. Help your mind grow. Help minds around you grow. And help them develop. And help you develop more creativity, more objectivity, more compassion, and more of an ability to experience the drama in your life. Why? You know. Now, everybody's story is a wonderful story. So, regardless rich or poor or whatever, those stories need to be told. And so the media is one force that's powerful in trying to better. This is what I call inner and outer politics. You know, as you grow inside and you influence other people, and they influence the government. And Neil deGrasse Tyson talked about story in India. Is it him? Let me know in the comments. I believe it was Neil that mentioned this recently on an old story. King Shoka. You know, he was creating a lot of violence from where he was at. And, well, at the end of his butchering and grabbing more and more power, he was a monk came to him and said, Buddhist, and said, "Oh, great king," you know, buttering him up a little. And he was carrying that child. Since you are so powerful, you bring this child. And that triggered something in Shoka. And Shoka, he got to his heart. After that, he started building shelters where animals could get out of the sun into the shade. Helped make sure there was water available for everyone, and other kind things. Yeah. So there wasn't a bloody revolution. Nobody put a gun to his head and said, "You have to share." It was this spiritual revolution that got over. And so it has to do with trade and meeting human need. You know, you're not going to get politics out of that. That's very political, and that happens inside yourself. Oh, I don't see how that's all. Well, there's a lot of yous inside you, and they have to get along. They don't get along. There's some bad politics going on in there. So get them to get along is real important. The outer politics, and everybody should be involved and vote. Politics has to do with helping everybody to get along. That's what it should be doing. And so the more you can more efficiently meet human need and provide these abilities to appreciate life for more people, you have less violence. You have people with greater contentment where they are. And you have cooperation. Let's say, how would this affect Russia and China, for instance? They're trying to grab more land. Will become part of and so Russia's over there creating atrocities, killing people and carrying on like a Shoka. And the Chinese are going, should we or shouldn't we? Can we? We're holding them back a little. But, yeah. They're thinking of doing that. Well, what's a better way? Well, create a country that is so wonderful that other countries would like to trade with you. They would like kind of in the loop with you, maybe even a part of you, closer and closer, kissing cousins. So why not that? Why not that? And certainly more economical. So this will end my presentation today. There's a lot more to intermountain communication than that. But I thought it was important to think about that. And so I like to say the end of my presentations, the word namaste, because it means all this potential for good and this feeling of oneness between people and their world, this great sense of sharing. From that perspective, it says namaste. That means I'm honoring that in you. I see you. I really see you. Underneath all the hurt, all the lack of virtues, that make imperfect people interesting. I see that in you. It's saying that. From that same place in me, I see that in you. And I honor that. We're all kind of the ugly duckling, aren't we? But deep down inside that ugly duckling, there's a beautiful swan. Out of the muck of the pond comes the lotus. So, and before I say my final namaste, I like to sing this Irish blessing just because it's so heartfelt. And I wish to send some good vibration here. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rain fall soft upon your feet. And until we meet again, May God hold you in the palm of his hand, or her hand, or its hand. Make a great day. Namaste.